I think marriage should be exclusive to a man and a woman, like it was traditionally the base of a family, that is the base of the society. Pregnancy is not an illness, and abortion is not a cure. So based on that, I would ensure that no federal tax dollars go towards paying for abortion.
Some controversial positions from one of the newest entries in the Conservative leadership race. Candidate Richard Descaries says being gay is a choice and also that abortion should be defunded. Some other leadership candidates are condemning those comments, saying it doesn't represent what the party or they stand for. But do social conservatives think it should be? And if so, could that mean the party is headed for a split? Kory Teneycke served as Director of Communications to Prime Minister Stephen Harper and campaign manager for Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He's now managing partner at Rubicon Strategy. Brad Trost is a former Conservative MP. He placed fourth in the 2017 Conservative leadership race. He's also the campaign chair for Richard Descaries' campaign and joins us from Saskatoon. Hi there, both of you. Nice to see you. Kory, I'm going to start with you. Your take on the comments and whether, there's some debate about whether Mr. Descaries should be allowed to run or should be blocked by the party from running.
Yeah, I think you have to separate some of the comments, because he said a number of things. I think some people will agree with and some will not. People will not agree with. But I think the comment that they said that I think is the most problematic is around saying that homosexuality is a choice. Now, I think that is stepping across a pretty clear line. One can have a debate on all kinds of social conservative issues, be them around gay marriage or abortion or other issues, and there's a spectrum of views in Canada around that. And there's certainly space in the Conservative Party to have those kinds of social conservative conversations. But where I think you cross the line into bigotry is when you take something that is inalienably a part of someone and you say it's a choice. If this candidate believes that, I don't think he's met very many people who are gay.
Mm-hmm. Brad, do you think that that comment specifically crossed a line into bigotry?
No, of course not. I don't think so. I think what Richard was trying to express was this. He's strongly opposed to gay marriage. He supports the traditional family. He thinks that that's where public policy should be. A man and a woman, their kids, their family. Richard's been pretty clear. He doesn't have anything against, he doesn't like the term LGBTQ. He views them as Canadians who should be treated fairly and with respect. He chooses to express things a little bit differently than a lot of other people would. But no, he's very much part of the Conservative Party. And I don't think it's any problem with what he said.
That's not. I would just sort of challenge one point that you're making. It's not. He wasn't saying that just to say that he supports or that he's against gay marriage or that he would redefine the sort of definition of marriage. He very clearly, and I asked him multiple times if he still believes, given the opposition, that being gay is a choice. And I take your point that he's saying he's not against people as humans, yeah, but he did say it. He believes these are the choices people make.
Well, for someone like Richard, for a lot of social conservatives, your sexual orientation is not something you are; it's something you do. So that's the way he chooses to express it. He has no bitterness. People are trying to put him on the defensive. He loves all Canadians. Why put words in his mouth when he's happy to support all Canadians, be they gay, straight, black, or white? He's got no issues with people. He has his viewpoint. It's a good viewpoint, and he's standing behind it.
With all due respect, it's not a good viewpoint. It's a bad viewpoint. It's a nakedly bigoted viewpoint.
That's ridiculous.
Let's let Kory finish. Let Kory finish. I'll get you to respond.
And I have no problem with a big tent for the Conservative Party that includes social conservatives and where we have open debates around issues of personal choice and conscience. But there is a very clear line, and I understand that there is a very small subset of social conservatives who think that homosexuality is a choice, and that is flies in the face of prevailing research in this area. It is demeaning and insulting to people within the LGBTQ community. It is an unacceptable perspective for a mainstream party. So my view is he should not be allowed to run. There has to be a line somewhere, right? There are things that we can debate and have conversations about, and there are many, many things. And there are many things that Brad and I would agree that we should have healthy debates on, and at our party is a place that's open to having healthy debates, but not on that. You have to draw a line somewhere, and I believe, and you saw it from the reaction from the other candidates in the race and people in caucus, in the unlikely event this guy ever won the leadership, most of the people in that caucus would not sit in the same room with him under his leadership. And there's a reason for that, because nobody wants to be in a party that is defined by bigotry. And it's just across the line.
Brad, you wanted to respond.
Well, I think what Kory's doing is doing political games. They're exaggerating a remark and they're trying to use it to skew the leadership race. I think there's a lot of people concerned Richard is going to do well in the leadership race. And this is something they're trying to blow out of proportion and try to make something that actually isn't there. Look, if you can't beat a guy at the ballot box, don't call names, don't try to exaggerate things, don't try to take things out of context.
It's not an exaggeration.
And don't do it. If it's so bad, if Conservatives are so opposed to this, he's only going to get 2 or 3% of the vote. So what are you scared of? Are you scared that he's actually going to get a large percent of the vote? That's your real
you have a right to free
Kory,
speech. You don't have
else.
a right to run in a political leadership race. We weed out candidates.
And who appointed you as the only decider of the Conservative Party?
I'm not the person who gets to decide. This is something that the LEOC committee, I think, should look at. And they have a mechanism in the same way that to be an MP, there's a screening process. Not just everyone who wants to run to be an MP, run in a nomination to be a candidate for the Conservative Party at a constituency level is allowed to run. And not everyone who wants to come up with 3,000 signatures and $300,000 should be allowed to run for the leadership. And if you want to express nakedly bigoted comments, like saying homosexuality is a choice, then I think that's a place where you draw the line. I don't think this guy should be allowed to run. I think he's well outside the mainstream of social
You're just scared he's going to get a large number of votes in the leadership race, so you're exaggerating.
I'm not supporting anybody in the leadership race.
Let me ask you, Brad, what do you think specifically is being exaggerated? Because he did unequivocally say being gay is a choice.
Look, the whole thing that if you're a social conservative and you say, which a lot of social conservatives don't, some do, some don't, that being gay is a choice, that it's automatically being a bigot. No, they're expressing something different. I understand why people are offended when they hear it, but they're understanding and implying things that Richard is not meaning to them. He's not throwing.
He's saying them literally. Like, what's there to misinterpret? He's saying homosexuality is a choice.
Sexuality as a behavior, not an attraction. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, okay.
But actually,
With
respect, Brad, he never said that. I spent 7 minutes interviewing him earlier in the show, and he had ample opportunity. And what he said unequivocally was that he thought it was a choice. I asked him for evidence to back that up. There's actually scientific evidence to the contrary. So I just don't know why you think that's an exaggeration.
If you're so scared of him and what he's doing and you think it's so horrible, no one will vote for him. And if no one votes for him, then you've got your proof of where the party stands. What Kory's concerned about is this. And this is why they're calling names and playing hardball politics to start this campaign off, is they're scared Richard is going to have a large number of votes, and in the end, he'll have a large influence in the race. This whole idea about people can't actually decide for themselves, if his remarks are thought to be bigoted by the Conservative Party membership, they will vote that way. The problem Kory is scared of is that a lot of Conservatives will look and not vote the way Kory wants them to.
Let me just ask you a quick question. Is there a fear at all, though, among people who care about this leadership race, that the views or the positions that he takes will prove to be popular among at least a segment of the party that will have a big impact on the race?
I think that there is a significant number of social conservatives in our party. I think they are part of our party and have been for a long time. I think that's a healthy and good thing. I'm not scared of social conservatives, Brad. But that doesn't mean that all social conservatives are the same. And most social conservatives that I know don't think that homosexuality is a choice. That's a pretty narrow viewpoint, and it's one that is nakedly bigoted. And I don't think if you're a bigot, you should be allowed to run. I think the guy should not be allowed to run. And I think that Brad, I respect you in many ways. You're a campaign manager of the campaign.
Chair,
the campaign chair, but the campaign management of Richard's campaign are some very credible people. I think you had a credible race, but I think I think the social conservatives can do much better fielding a candidate that is not making openly bigoted comments like this. And I don't think there's place for him in the party. I'm sorry. There's a big place for social conservatives. I hope they do well. I hope others run. There are other social conservatives running in this race. But we got to draw a line somewhere, and I say it should be a bigotry.
I have just 15 seconds left. Brad, last word to you.
Well, what Kory's doing is he's playing into the liberal stereotype, and he's hurting the party in itself. If party members agree with him, they won't vote for Richard. If they disagree with Kory, they will vote for Richard. Let the people speak. Let them have their voice.
I'll be elected Pope before this guy is elected leader.
We shall see. Thank you very much to both of you for making time for us tonight. Thanks to Brad Trost and Kory Teneycke.